Hi, John McPhail here from Matex Control Chemical in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'm going to explain to you how to hook up our latest invention called the Matex Fluid Injector. Electrical source is either 12 or 24 volt DC. The red is positive and the black is negative. It can come from any source on your drill rig that has 12 or 24 volt. Then this unit also comes with 15 feet of discharge hose, high pressure discharge hose. This end here with the check valve on it, a 2000 psi check valve already installed on it, goes to the discharge side of your water injection pump. So it pumps this product into the water line and is carried to the air line. This side here, of course, hooks up right here, and you can see on the top plate here when you are hooking this up, it has fluid injection port. So we tie this onto our fluid injection. If I was doing this, I would leave the other end of this line not hooked up just as of yet. Have it plumbed into the drill rig ready to go, but leave that off because we'd like to pump and fill this line and see the product coming out of the end of the line before we hooked up to the water line, because then we know it's going to get down to the drill bit. Then over here on this side, we have also, which is included in this package, 15 feet of 300 psi airline. Your airline will be hooked up here, and then you can see on your gauge, once you open your air up, if you turn your air on to drill, then we can handle up to 300 psi in here. If it's going to be more than that, excuse me, if you're running a 500 psi compressor, then please regulate it down on the other end of this before it comes in here, because the maximum we want here is 300 psi. If you could look at the plumbing here, this 300 psi that goes to your injection pump bypasses here and goes right directly to your pump. This regulator regulates the pressure that goes to our mixing motor, which I will show you the insides of this in a few minutes. So once you have everything hooked up, you have your air hooked up, you have your electrical hooked up, and you have this end of the injection line, you can go ahead and hit start. Now this dial on here goes either anywhere from 1 liter per hour. If you turn it all the way up, it should go to 3 liters per hour. So while you're filling this hose, turn it up to 3 liters per hour. You'll feel it coming out, and once you see the product coming out here, then by all means shut this off. The easiest way to shut the pump off while you're sitting right here is just unhook this air line. The timer can always be turned on. If there's no pressure coming to this air line, then the pump is not pumping anything. So unhook your air line, tie this into your water injection system where you want the product to go. You hook your air back up and hit your start. Once you hit that start button, for the first 30 seconds, the mixer's going to turn on, because we know that whole control, while it's being shipped and if it's stored for a while, it can separate, just like this. But you'll see the mixer in here. We've taken care of that. So when you hook your air up for the first time in a new pail, you hit start, your mixer mixes for 30 seconds and completely mixes this product. It'll mix it in about 10 seconds. We gave it 30 seconds so we know for sure that it's mixed perfectly. And when it's mixed perfectly, you get perfect consistency every time of the product. On another little note, because the air bypasses the regulator that goes to the pump, if you go straight through the regulator, it goes to our to the mixer. So there's some air drill lubricant, an air 2 lubricant that you can get anywhere in the world at an automotive store or what have you. You should always put a couple of drops right in here every day, because that is an air motor and it needs to be lubricated. So if you put 2 drops in there every day before you hook it up or before you change your pail or when you're changing your pail, that will keep that very well lubricated. So that's pretty easy maintenance for that. Again, then you hook it up, you hit this start button, it will run this for 30 seconds, and then it automatically goes back to injecting whatever you had this dial previously set at. So if you had it set at 1 liter per hour, then it'll go back to injecting 1 liter per hour. So let's say we had a pail on here and we injected over a 24-hour period, we've gone through 1 pail of hole control, for instance. So the pail is now finished. Again, you unhook your airline. And I say you unhook your airline, the reason being is because the other end of this airline should be hooked up to your drilling airline after the butterfly valve. So if it's after the butterfly valve, as soon as you turn your air on to go drilling, it activates the pump because the timer is always on. The timer will always say, okay, go ahead, pump, go ahead, pump, go ahead, pump. But if there's no air pressure there, it's not going to pump and the air motor's not going to operate. The air mixer's not going to operate. So you put your airline in here and you don't have your drill air on because you're changing this between shifts or what have you, or between holes, so that your drill air is not on. If the other end of this air hose is hooked up to your bit air after the butterfly valve, then every time you turn your air on, the air comes here and it activates your pump. So you have 100% control of the product that you're injecting. That's why, for any security purposes, your air is turned off, you're not drilling, so there's really no pressure here, so you take this air line off, safety. Leave your discharge line on, leave your electrical supply on, and let's say you've finished a pail of product. So now you want to change the pail out of the product. You simply undo these clamps, you lift this whole pail out of here, because now you still have the pump and you're inside the pail. You didn't set it down on the dirt, you still have the pump, everything is all still sitting there nice and clean. But you know the pail's empty. If you're not sure that it's empty, by all means check it, have a look at it, set it back down there, never set it on the ground. This is out of the way. So now, if you've screwed this base down to the drill rig, it's nice and solid where you want it to be, then you can take your new pail of product and turn it around. You rip off this tab all the way around the pail, take your lid buster, and there's no product in this pail, but take your lid buster and go around this pail until you get the lid off. Discard of your lid buster. So remember, this is a full pail of product. I'm just this strong. Set your pail of product inside your base. Get your handle over on this side of the fasteners. Now, again, you're sitting in a nice clean pail. You didn't set this down on any dirt or debris. There's your mixer, and there's your pump that's inside. Underneath here is an O-ring that seals onto the pail. Stops it from getting any moisture or anything inside your product. You clamp this down. Now, as you've seen when you took the lid off the pail, the product may have separated a little bit. That's fine. We know that. We've taken care of it. Because we want 100% consistency in our product, we put this mixer in here. So we're not concerned about that being separated. Now, we'll go ahead again, because there's not even any pressure in this line, remember? Your drill air is not turned on yet. So we put our air line here, we turn our drill air on, so now we've got action here again, and nothing's going to happen just yet until you hit this start button again. Once you hit that start button, your mixer goes again for 30 seconds, and then it goes back to injecting whatever you previously had this set at. So you can watch it coming out the end of your drill pipe or what have you, because you know that the line is full. Just because the pail is empty doesn't mean the line is empty. Because if the pail is empty, there's nothing to push this fluid through. So you can go ahead and start your drilling. By the time you press this button to 30 seconds, by the time you get to the drill, it'll be back injecting a good consistent mixture again. If you have any questions on that, you can always refer to our brochure for the pressures and everything else. All the other information is in our brochure with the pressures, your minimums, maximums, and whatever else that you might need to look for. There's a little bit of troubleshooting in here if the need be. However, I don't think you'll find much problems with these products. And our contact information is in the brochure, so any other questions that you might have, by all means, feel free to call us at the office in Calgary. Thank you for watching.